Welcome one, welcome all. It is time for
T-minus 10, 9,
liftoff.
8, 7,
Countdown
6,
with me, folks. I
5,
need your help.
4, 3,
Don't let me down.
2, 1,
We got this.
0. Ignition.
A little extra energy, yeah?
Liftoff.
There it is.
Liftoff. 30 minutes after the hour.
Come on, we're off. Y nos vamos. We're off. Come on, get ready.
Hold on to your hat. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hat. Get ready
For the ride of your life.
The show with no. It's show with no name time. On Vaughn Radio.
It's a show with no name.
Let's go.
All right. Welcome, folks. Welcome to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio, where you can learn English all day, every day. That's right. Doesn't matter what time, because I get it. I totally get it. Some days you got time at 4 o'clock, and some days you don't. So, c'est la vie. That's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way the ball bounces. Oye, deberíais adoptar esa. Así bota la pelota. Es que rima y todo. Te la regalo. It's yours, guys. That's the way the ball bounces. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Así se desmiga la galleta. Hey, I just thought of something. We say in the United States, that's the way the cookie crumbles. But in England, they don't call them cookies. They call them biscuits. So I got to remind me to ask Rob and some of my English friends, do they say that's the way the biscuit crumbles? I don't know. Curious. Curiosities of my own language. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Vaughn Radio, where you can learn English all day, every day. And don't forget about our brand new shows. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Vaughn Radio proudly presents two brand spanking new shows. You can join Ruby every weekday on her program Speak Up from 3 to 4 p.m. Speak Up is for students who are just getting started and superstars who want to go over the basics. Let Ruby guide you through the English experience on her new program Speak Up on Vaughn Radio from 3 to 4 p.m. And Frankly Speaking, hosted by Chris. This program will be on every evening from 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And in Frankly Speaking, Chris Frank will make you feel like you were at the restaurant or bar with him in a totally native conversation. Learn English as you have fun with Frankly Speaking. So make sure you check out our two latest programs. You're going to love them. Frankly Speaking with Chris from 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And Speak Up with Ruby from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. I have a feeling, I have a hunch you're going to love these new programs. Exclusively on Vaughn Radio. That's right, folks. Don't miss them. Don't miss them. And please let me know. Let me know what you thought of the programs. I will pass it on to Ruby and Chris. But what I've heard, and I've heard it from some pretty reputable sources, de fiar, ¿no? Fuentes de fiar, reputable sources that they killed it. Now, wait, I know what you're thinking. Lo mataron? Arrasaron. To kill it is, if you guys listen to Rob Graham's in the Pro Bow show or in the Lunchtime show, that's one of his favorite idiomatic expressions. You're killing it. And yesterday, I heard, I'm going to listen to them later on. I didn't get a chance yesterday, but they killed it. So once again, Ruby and Chris, it's official. Welcome aboard, amigos. And you guys, please support them. Give them the same love that you give us day in, day out. All right, folks, time for our first section, Question of the Week.
Question of the Week.
That's right, amigos. Question of the week. Now, remember, it's not for this week. It's for the following Friday, because this week is a weird week. As you guys know, some of you have 1 day off. Some of you have 2 days off. So, but I'm giving you plenty of time. Tiempo de sobra, pero sobrado. But that doesn't mean you should, put it off till the last minute. We looked at that word. And I'm saying that aloud to myself with other things I need to do, things on my to-do list. So if you want to participate, and I think they've all been interesting, all your answers. I think the questions are thought-provoking questions. Preguntas que te hacen pensar, no solo, oh, yes, Rome. Okay, your favorite city's Rome, but why? We want to know that part. We want you to express yourself in English. And that's what this whole question of the week thing is about. It's about you having a voice here on the show with no name, every week, being heard by tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands with the podcast downloads of people. No pressure. So don't screw it up. No la cagues. No, seriously, guys, it's awesome because we get to hear you. We get to know you as a person. And you get to express yourself in English, and I can help you. I can tell you, we would say this like that. This is a little bit too formal. I can guide you, as I always do, but now we can take it a step further, un paso más allá. And I think this week is one of the funniest ones. Well, this coming week is one of the funniest ones. I think we're going to have a lot of funny little anecdotes, a lot of funny little stories, and it's your most embarrassing English situation, mistake. That story where you're like, oh man, one time I put my foot in my mouth, or I screwed up, otra forma de decir, la cagué, in English, and there was a misunderstanding. But as we always know, those misunderstandings turn into funny little stories that you can share with us in the coming. Now, as I said, this week, think of it as if it were this Friday, and then you get it out of the way. Te lo quitas de medio. But we'll be listening to them next Friday. Your biggest or most embarrassing English faux pas, cagada, as you say as well, and tell us all about it. Introduce yourself. Keep the audio at around a minute. Remember, being concise, conciso, escueto. That's a skill too. Eso es una habilidad en sí mismo. So keep it short, keep it sweet, and tell us a funny little anecdote. And that's on the question of the week. Once you know what you want to say, record it on your phone, and you can send it to me at my email address. Jot it down, apúntalo. It's aalonso@grupovon.com. And I'm eager to hear from all of you. Tengo muchas ganas de oír de todos. And I'm sure I speak on behalf of all of us. So make sure you participate, amigos. And speaking of participating, let's do today's pop quiz. Come on. Come on. Do it with me. Pop quiz. Uh-huh. 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 Pop quiz. Uh-huh. Yeah. Let's go. Pop Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. That's right, folks. That's right. It is our pop quiz here on the show with no name. And today we're going to be taking a look at something from Conversaciones en Inglés. Now, this is book 2. There are 3 of them. This is book 2, Conversaciones en Inglés. I'm holding it up if you're with us live right now. And if you want to pick up this awesome resource in English with Richard Vaughn and yours truly on the cover, you can pick it up at vaughntienda.com. If you're looking for courses, as you know, we have special deals going on all the time. Check out our website, grupovaughn.com. Follow us on social media as well. Remember, that's really important because usually we have the latest news. You'll be the first one to know when there's some deal or some event coming up, which, by the way, mark your calendars. November 1st, All Saints Day, I'm hosting a trivia night over at Roll Madrid. Roll Madrid, it's Calle de Amañel 23, if I'm not mistaken. Well, either way, you should put it into Google Maps. Roll Madrid. We'll see you there. It starts at 8:30. Get there at 8. I'm working on everything now. It's taken a long time because I'm producing audio. You're going to hear little audio clips. So I think, as we say in English, and we used to say, I remember when we did our reporting, we had a little TV station, a local one. And in my high school, we would produce a weekly show, a news show talking about the high school. And every time we would have an event, we would always end it with, and a good time was had by all. Y un buen rato se lo pasaron todos. A good time will be had by all. I can guarantee it because I'm going to go there, drink some beer, talk about some horror stuff, share some awesome moments, take selfies, whatever, whatever comes up, lo que surja. So this is Conversaciones en Inglés. They are totally native conversations, and you can see the text. It has footnotes, ¿no? Como explicando diferentes expresiones, estructuras. Then you've got like an audio, and it's usually based on a certain topic. And then there are some questions that you have to answer. So I figured what we could do right now is listen to that audio. Now, if you have the book, well, I've got to say you've got an advantage already, because you can open up the book to chapter, let me give it to you here, chapter 89. This is Conversaciones en Inglés 2, and this is chapter 89. And all you have to do right now's the simple part, or not. Listen very carefully, because then I'm going to ask you some questions based on what you heard. It's a little bit like Say What?, but a little bit different as well. So is everybody ready? If you want to take notes, do it. But I will be asking you questions, and we'll look at some of the vocabulary that comes up. This is chapter 89, and it's Conversaciones en Inglés 2, available at vaughntienda.com, or stop by in person. It's always nicer to chat with people. Bilbao, Valladolid, Zaragoza, Barcelona, Valencia, Santander, Vigo, Madrid, obviously. Guys, if you live in those cities, stop by. We'd love to meet you. Okay, pay close attention.
What's wrong, Hannah? Don't take this the wrong way, but you look furious.
I'm fine.
You're clearly not fine. Come on, spill.
Well, Howard's going away to Vancouver on business on Sunday, and he's going to be there for a month. We've only been married for 8 months, and he's about to go on his 3rd long business trip.
Well, just look at it this way. When you spend a lot of time apart, it really helps you to appreciate the time you spend together.
I haven't finished yet. He's going with Marianne. They're even sharing a hotel room to, quote, save costs, unquote.
What? You mean Marianne? The one who every man in the office drools over and who has always had a soft spot for your husband?
That's right, the very same one. And what's worse, Howard seems really excited about the trip.
Oh my God. If my husband were going away with her, I would die. Seriously, I would just die.
Well, thanks for making me feel better, Renee. Anyway, what would you do if you were in my shoes?
I've just told you, I would die. If I lost my husband to someone like her, I just wouldn't know how to keep calm. Seriously, I'd just die. Die.
You aren't very good at this, are you?
Well, what do you want me to say? I'm telling you the truth. You asked me a question, and I gave you an answer. Any woman whose husband was going on a business trip with someone like her would just die. That's just the way it is.
So what should I do?
Tell him you don't want him to go. Besides, you've only been living together for 1 year, and he's been away on business so many times during that time. You need to discuss this.
But I don't want him to think I don't trust him.
Trust is such a beautiful word. But she's Marianne. What if these business trips become a regular thing? How will you live peacefully knowing that your husband is constantly going away with women like her?
Don't take this the wrong way, but you're really not helping.
Oh, man, Marianne. Careful with that Marianne. She is a wildcat. By the way, great job, Ximena. Wonderful job to Ximena. I don't know. I didn't recognize the other voice. It wasn't Tosh Pasqua. But, ooh, Marianne. All the boys in the office are talking about Marianne, huh? And by the way, Ximena, what a horrible friend. I know she's playing a character. But, man, you're supposed to console your friend. You're supposed to make him feel better. What's wrong with you? You're exacerbating the situation. My God, poor thing. And Marianne, you better watch it. Going after married men. What's wrong with you, girl? All right. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed it. It would be interesting to know how much of it you caught. No, ¿qué porcentaje? Like, did you get 80% of it? Did you get 70? You know, again, that's where it's similar to the say what soundbite. Esta vez pillé menos. So that's an interesting thing. Now, the good thing about this conversation, they're both speaking clearly. There's no, down there while my cousin is, and we were down there down on the backhoe, and we were going down there digging we didn't find nothing. There are people who talk like that. Hey, you got it in Spain, you got it in every country. And that's the way it is. You know, we don't all speak perfect English and perfect. It doesn't work like that. That's academia. All right, so here's what I'm going to see if you got from this audio recording. Again, in the book that I'm looking at right now, Conversaciones en Inglés 2, you've got the whole conversation. You've got all the different vocab and expressions that they want to highlight, which is the ones we're going to be looking at. And then they have some questions. What does Hannah look like, according to Renee? What does Renee ask Hannah to do? What's wrong with her? And why is this a problem? So it's really good because obviously you listen to the audio, you can follow along with it. And then the key is to be able to answer questions based on what you heard. Okay, so I'm going to ask you 5 things today. And I want them in context. Hopefully they'll fit in one. You don't have to, just a short sentence is fine. Give me all of them all together because they're all pretty common ones and I want to make sure you know them. And again, this is just one page of Conversaciones en Inglés 2. You can get 1 and you can also get 3 as well. All right, so Renee, a.k.a. Ximena, says, venga, cuenta. But she doesn't say that. So when her friend says, I'm fine, she goes, you're clearly not fine. Come on. All right. Well, that's the first one. So hold on to that. Then there's a moment where she says they're even sharing a hotel room. Esa parte ya. To, entre comillas, save money. I want you to give me entre comillas. Again, in a short sentence. So you can say, he, entre comillas, is tired. O sea, no te compliques tampoco. I just want to see that you know it and you can use it in context. That's number 2. The next one, se le cae la baba. How would you say, Alberto se le cae la baba cuando ve a Lara, for example? Okay. Another one, tener cierta debilidad was mentioned in there. Tener cierta debilidad. That's our 4th one. Again, keep it simple. We got 5 sentences here. And if they don't fit in one, don't worry, you can put them into 2. And the last one, ¿qué harías si estuvieras? Okay, yeah, lo he dicho bien. I was going to try not to look, but I was like, I got to check it. Condicional difícil, ¿eh? ¿Qué harías si estuvieras en mi lugar? It's an idiomatic expression. So you have to use en mi lugar. You don't have to translate that question. You can if you want, or you can just say, si estuviera en tu lugar. All right? Those are 5 very, very native things we're going to take a look at. They're coming straight out of chapter 89 in Conversaciones en Inglés, part 2. Let's go on over to our virtual classroom. I see we've got a lot of students checking in and ready to rock. Hello, David. Good morning to you. He says, good morning, Alberto and mates. David, it's crazy. I don't know how you do it, but guys, David gets here before I do. Like, he's like, I sign on. I got to sign in to my password is saved, but I have to log in, sign in. And then I go into the studio, como se llama, donde grabo esta sesión. And I see there's one comment, and I open it up. I'm like, David, how the hell did you get here before me? David, you're a sorcerer. Un mago. Hey, Kubla says, greetings, delicious gang. Delicious? No sé si lo usaría para personas. Could be sexual. I imagine you don't mean it that way. I'll try to be on my toes no matter what happens next. I trust you don't deem me a foe, since all I do is be on deck. There he goes with a little poetry to kick off today's class. Born to Iron Man says, morning, folks. Morning to you, sir. Always a pleasure to have you with us on board and ready to rock our decathlete. Oh, wow. I can't keep up. You're a machine. You're not a man. You're a machine. Chris Valrol, there she is. Chris in the house. Chris says, morning, Alberto and mates. Ready for sharing these 2 magical hours with you. Just be careful, Chris. Te hago un ajuste, a little adjustment over here. Ready to share, right? Piensa en la frase, I'm ready to rock. Listo para acción. Same structure, right? I'm ready to eat now. No, estoy listo para comer. Ready to rock. I've seen that mistake before, so everybody take note. It's always ready. Well, you could say, I'm ready for the event. Eso sí. But when we put a verb in there, it's usually in the infinitive. Also, Chris giving us some info, the 411, la información. And Chris says, roll Madrid, yes. Calle de Amaniel 23. Awesome. Thank you so much for the 411. 411 es otra forma de decir información porque es el número de teléfono que llamábamos antes de Internet. 911, urgencia. We hope there are no 911s. And thanks for the 411, Chris. There's Daniel Pastor. What's up, Daniel? In Spanish, Daniel. In English, Daniel. Daniel, my brother. You know the song, don't you? Daniel, I'm sure you do, right? Tell me you know the song. It's an Elton John song, and it's beautiful. Folks, we've got to go to a quick commercial break. I can't believe it. The good news, we're going to be, just literally back 2 minutes, tops, máximo, tops. ¿Usáis esa? I know you say maximum. Esa es fácil. But if we want to sound native, I'll be back in 2 minutes. Tops. All right, amigos, you know how it works. Stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. Yeah. That's right, amigos. Welcome back to part 2 of today's show. Nobody gave me any feedback. Did you guys listen to the new shows? Did you listen to Speak Up? I mean, as I said, I heard from very reputable sources that they kicked ass. Lo petaron, as you guys say. That's what I heard. Well, I'm looking forward to listening to them. After today's show, I'll be able to listen to them. But yesterday, man, I was recording some FYI, preparing some show with no names. There's always something to be done around here. But the key is we're always producing content. English content. So follow Grupo Vaughn. Follow my friends at Vaughn Radio. Follow me. And it's just a way to make sure you're getting tons and tons of content every day. Even on the weekends, guys. Many of you know, myself, many of my friends, we post on the weekend. You know why I post on the weekend? Well, because I know many people have more time to be on social media to learn English. So that's why a lot of times I at least try and put one post, sometimes 2 on the weekend. So this way, even, when you're not listening to live shows, which, again, all these shows are repeated on the weekend. So if you miss one during the week, tune in during the weekend, and who knows, maybe you'll hear Wednesday's show. I don't know exactly how they do that, the inner workings, as we say, but you've got content 24/7, 365 here on Vaughn Radio. Just download the free app, and you're good to go. Y estás en acción, estás moviéndote. All right, well, folks, we've got so much to do, so we're going to do Say What, and then we'll check out your answers in the pop quiz. So here it is, folks, the Say What soundbite. Yeah. Say what? Yeah, folks, the Say What soundbite. The Say What soundbite. The Say What soundbite. Okay. You know the way this works. You know the drill. You're going to hear this 4 times, folks. And I want your feedback. I want your opinion in your best English. Your take. Tu toma. I think you say the same thing. Well, folks, as always, you have to pay close attention and write down what you hear. So is everybody ready? This is the Say What soundbite for the first time.
I'm dead. Jesse's gonna rip my eyes out, punch my face in, then break up with me. It's her usual pattern. Look, Slater, the only way out of this is for you to tell Jesse that it's over between you and Jennifer.
All right. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you might recognize some names in there. You know, like the other day when someone's like, the Beatles. Well, obviously it's, you know, when somebody says the Beatles in a Liverpudlian accent, well, then you can imagine it's one of the Beatles. Because we heard John Lennon last week, was it? Yeah, last week on the Say What soundbite. Okay, so let's see what we've got over here. I'm going to play it for you a second time, and then I'll let you guys tell me what you heard in your best English. And then in the meantime, while we're doing that, I'm going to check your answers on today's pop quiz. This way, we've got a lot of fronts open. We say the same thing, muchos frentes abiertos. I believe I've heard people say that in Spanish too. All right, well, here goes the Say What soundbite for the second time.
I'm dead. Jesse's gonna rip my eyes out, punch my face in, then break up with me. It's her usual pattern. Look, Slater, the only way out of this is for you to tell Jesse that it's over between you and Jennifer.
All right, there you go, folks. There you go, there you go, there you go, folks. There you go. All right, let's go into our virtual chat room here. Remember, if you want to participate live, you can do it on YouTube, Facebook, also, well, Twitter, you can watch it, but we don't get the tweets here. So really, I would say stick to YouTube, because also I know Facebook these days, well, just isn't what it used to be. It isn't as popular either. All right, well, let's see what you guys came up with in the pop quiz, which came straight out of Conversaciones en Inglés 2, which is available at the Von Tienda. All right, the first person to participate is our buddy Kubla. And the first one, he says, go ahead, spill. What did he say? Kubla, the first one is correct. All right. Let's take a look. The next one, he says, I like reading air quotes, uplifting texts. Yes. Great. Air quotes. So the first one is spill. He said, spill, derrama. Yes. It comes from spill the beans. The expression is spill the beans. Tira las habichuelas. Spill the beans, derrámalas. The second one, air quotes. ¿Por qué? Porque hacemos esto, si estáis viendo el vídeo, en el aire hacemos como el clic, clic con los dos dedos. Como si estuviéramos poniendo citas, quotes. So we say, he's my, air quotes, favorite drummer. No, o sea que no es mi favorito. It's the exact opposite of what you're saying. Like you would say, ironía mode on. Same thing, air quotes. All right. Kubla then said, for the third one, she drools over her pet. Yes. To drool over. And drool is the noun, baba. Hey, you've got some drool on your face. And we say to drool over. Piénsalo, estás sobre, encima de. She drools over her pet. Wonderful job. And then Kubla, let's see, that's 3 for 3. Let's see how he does with the fourth one. He says, English. That's my soft spot. Yeah, my soft spot. Mi punto débil. We say mi punto suave. Just think of it. Same idea. You can also say it's my weakness. Oh, chocolate, that's my weakness. That's my soft spot. Great, Kubla. Let's see if he can go 5 for 5. And the last one, he says, what would you do if you were in my shoes? Yeah. Yeah. All right, Kubla, great job. 5 for 5. Let's check out our buddy Born to Iron Man. Born to Iron Man says, let's spill it. Vamos a soltarlo. Vamos a por fin decirlo. So let's spill it. Great job. Let's spill it. He says, then, if I put in her shoes. Okay. So if I put in her shoes, I got to give you. It's all right. If I put myself in her shoes, right? Or if I were in her shoes, right? But if I put in her shoes, justo nos faltaría entonces el reflexivo. But great job, nonetheless. Let's see. And then he goes on to say, y sigue, he goes on to say, I travel with the other quote unquote madam and would leave my husband at home alone. Great quote unquote. So you can say air quotes or quote unquote. Excellent. The cool thing is those, do the gesture. Hay que hacerlo con el gesto, yo creo. Es clave. All right, and then Chris. Oh, Born to Iron Man, you only gave us a couple of them there. All right, well, not bad. All right. But you know me. I want it all. Let's see what Chris says. Chris says, she said, quote unquote. Oh, Chris is putting it all into one story. She said, quote unquote, que también no siempre es irónico. Depende. And he said, quote unquote, I'm not going to see that bitch. Por ejemplo. Right? So it can be literal, but the thing is the tone that you use. Air quotes, yo creo que siempre es sarcástico. So she said, quote unquote, spill it. The beans. Great job, Chris. That's 2 in 1. 2 in 1 sentence. Then she goes on to say he had certain soft spot. Chris, te falta una A. So he had a certain soft spot for Marianne. Oh, man, Marianne. She's causing some problems. She's a home wrecker. Nosotros decimos, destroza casas, matrimonio. Oh, that Marianne. Woo. I wonder if they based her like on a real character. I don't know. And then Chris says, what would you do if you were in my shoes? Yeah. Sí. Nosotros decimos en la piel de otra persona, en los zapatos. I know you say ponte en mi piel. You could say put yourself in my skin, but I've never really heard it too much. It's more common to say, put yourself in my shoes, right? Or if you were in my shoes, si estuvieras en mi piel, en mis zapatos. Really cool song by Depeche Mode. Try walking in my shoes, you'll stumble in my footsteps. Try walking in my shoes. Excellent song, by the way. If you don't know it, check it out. And you'll never forget this idiomatic expression. Try walking in my shoes. All right, amigos. Well, wonderful job to each and every one of you. Wonderful job, guys. All right, also, we've got some people participating in the Say What soundbite. Let's see what you guys heard in your best English. The first person to participate is Kubla, and he says, I heard an American boy explaining how his face will undergo a messy metamorphosis because of a love falling out. All right, interesting. Not natural. Not very natural. I like that you use big words, Kubla, but it's and so you're saying it's a boy. Interesting. All right, so I heard an American boy explaining how his face will undergo a messy metamorphosis, which is a very formal way of saying it. Okay, we'll take it. But remember, again, I'll say this. We're looking for natural. I mean, like this book I have here, Natural English, right? Because I like the delicious thing. It's okay, but nobody calls me delicious personally. No offense. I like it. I get it. I guess I'm edible, comestible. I get it. And a falling out. That's a great word. Falling out. Una pelea, un desacuerdo. So, all right. Great job. Chris says, I heard a young American guy who is devastated because of the way his girlfriend split with him. I love it, Chris. Short and sweet. You said it all in a sentence. Awesome. Let's see a couple more comments here, and then we've got to move on to today's spelling bee. Chris says, if I were in her shoes, I'd go with them. 3 is a crowd. Yeah, that's a messy situation, isn't it? Oh, man. Let's see. German says, if you were in my shoes, you'd see the world in my eyes. Don't listen to me. Just spreading blasphemous rumors. All right. I don't know what this... I don't get the second part there. But all right. Cool, guys. Cool. Let's focus on a little bit on... Sometimes I ask myself, what are you guys listening to? Are you guys listening to the show live? Or are you listening to tomorrow's show before it was even recorded? Hey, who knows? You guys have got that power. Look at David. David gets to the show before I do. How on earth is that possible? Well, we'll have to ask David. He is a magician, and as he's already shown us. All right, well, folks, it's time for today's Spelling Bee.
Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee.
All right. Oh, German, okay, I see. I'm a Depeche Mode fan, but I missed that. I missed the reference. He said it's a Depeche Mode song. Okay, I got you. All right, well, folks, it's time for our Spelling Bee. As you know, this is going to be tough as always, but do your best. You get 2 chances. This is round uno. These will be capitalized because they are people's names. Here we go. The first one is Jazz space Singer. The second one is Alan space Crosland. The third one is Al space Jolson. The fourth one is Vitaphone space SOUND-ON-DISC. The fifth one is JAKIE space RABINOWITZ. And the last one is DARRYL space F period space ZANUCK. Oh my goodness. That's man. All right. So, my amigos, as always, I can give you a kind of an audio clue.
It's often called America's national pastime. We innately identify with it. We put it on a pedestal. But most of all, we get excited about the entire enthralling experience. There's nothing like the raucous roar of the crowd when they hear the crack of the ball against the bat. Grab your jerseys and mitts as we break down baseball on today's FYI. Welcome to For Your Info. English. You got it.
Yeah, well, it's got nothing to do with baseball. My bad. I mislabeled my audio cues over here. All right, let me give you another clue. I got another clue. I got a backup for you. Here's another clue that might help you. All right, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the smooth sounds. Let's see, we've got somebody taking a stab at it here. It's Born to Iron Man. Born to Iron Man, the first one is correct. So far, so good. Hey, Born to Iron Man, the second one is also correct. Good job. Hey, Born to Iron Man, the third one is incorrect. Good effort, nice try, but we're gonna see how Kubla did. All right, Kubla, yeah. I said the first one is correct. Kubla, yeah. I said the second one is correct. Kubla, yeah. I said the third one is correct as well. And what about the fourth? The fourth one is correct. And what about the fifth? The fifth one is correct. Yes, it is, my friends. And now we've got one left. And ladies and gentlemen, the sixth one is correct. Yeah! Kubla! Great job in the spelling bee. 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 Hey, a little music always jazzes things up. Jazz, to jazz it up, darle un toque especial. All right, well, hey, you say you like my jokes. Don't just like the ones in the joking section. All right, let me give you these words again, folks. This is round 2. The first one is, are you ready? JAZZ space SINGER. The second one is ALAN space CROSLAND. The third one is AL space, my bad. See, we're all human here. AL space JOLSON. Iron Man, you said GOL instead of JOL. The fourth one is VITAPHONE space SOUND hyphen or dash. You put apostrophe. So just be careful. Hyphen or dash, barra. So SOUND dash or hyphen ON dash DISC. The fifth one is JAKIE space RABINOWITZ. And the sixth one is DARRYL space F period space ZANUCK. All right. We're jazzing it up right now here on the show with no name. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got another winner. Another super show with no namer who got it on the second round. Chris Valrol. So, excellent effort, Born to Iron Man. And congrats, Kubla and Chris, for nailing it. And yes, this is a list of people who were involved in the making of the jazz singer.
The Jazz Singer, the first prominent talkie movie. Yeah, when there were silent films, they used to call the movies, the ones where people would talk and there was sound, synchronized sound, they were called talkies. Now all movies are talkies, so that term is redundant. But back in the day, this was a talkie. And today, in the year 1927, the premiere of The Jazz Singer, the first known prominent talkie movie. And The Jazz Singer is a story, and it's directed by Alan Crossland. That was, what name was that? That was the second name. So the first word was Jazz Singer. The second one was Alan Crossland, the director. Then Al Jolson. He performed 6 of the songs. It's a classic, folks, if you haven't heard it. Number 4, Vitaphone sound on disc. That was the technology. Vitaphone sound on disc. Yeah. And number 5 was Jackie Rabinowitz, and that was the character's name. There's a remake of this movie with Neil Diamond, but Jackie Rabinowitz is the character's name. And then last but not least, the producer, Daryl F. Zanuck, who produced a lot of classic movies. All right, amigos, we've got to go to a quick commercial break. We are halfway through the show. So much to do when we come back. So stick around.
Hello. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. We're in the second half of today's show. We've covered a lot of things so far, but we've got a lot to cover up ahead. So I hope you'll stick with us, play along, laugh, and also stay tuned after the show when my good friend Ximena Holiday tests your English. You've also got the lunchtime show with Rob and Andy and their banter. Su cha-cha-ra. After that, you've got our latest show, Speak Up, with Ruby. Then you've got The Salad with Dave Boys, Kyle Miller's Drive Time, and Frankly Speaking. And don't forget about the man with the plan, Richard Vaughn. Of course, the guy who started this, the guy who set it up, the master himself. None of us would be here if it hadn't been for his hard work, his investment, his energy, man. So a shout out to Richard Vaughn, of course. And don't forget about Fitz and his program, No Excuses. You can listen to them all on the Vaughn Radio app, amigos. All right, well, we've got a lot to do, so let's kick off the second half with Homophones on the show with no name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
That's right, amigos. Let's take a look and see if you guys know today's words and if you know if they sound the same or not. Now, the first word is to make bored. Aburrir. Hastiar. Cansar in Spanish. It's also to make a hole. So, perforar. Taladrar. It's also, what else? Lata, fastidio, rollo. So it makes sense, algo aburrido. So it's the verb and the noun. What else is it? Anything else? Oh, it is the past tense of soportar o aguantar una persona o peso, right? It's also dar a luz. Dio a luz. So, very rich word. Okay. También es girar a la izquierda, pero es el pasado, giró. Okay. So, wow. We'll take a look at it so it's all clear a little bit later on. Now, let's look at our second word. And the second word is a wild pig. Okay, you say jabalí. I used to think that word had an N on the end for some reason. Yeah, but you say jabalí, and we say a wild pig or a cerdo macho. It says here berraco, cerdo, jabalí. So I guess it depends on what you call it in your neck of the woods. It's a male pig, uncastrated. So if you said, ese jabalí, esa jabalí, no, pero pueden tener, jabalía, I don't know. Pues en inglés, si dijeras, ese jabalí parió, tuvo dos críos. Would those words sound the same? Parió and jabalí. All right. Also, in the meantime, while you guys are figuring that out, let me give you the say what soundbite for the third time.
I'm dead. Jesse's gonna rip my eyes out, punch my face in, then break up with me. It's her usual pattern. Look, Slater, the only way out of this is for you to tell Jesse that it's over between you and Jennifer.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. You'll hear it one more time. Chris Valrol knows what's going on. She says, by the way, today's show is really sonorous. Jazz and say what rings a bell. Chris, you caught me. And very nice way to tell me that you know what's going on, but without giving it away, sin soplarlo, without spilling the beans. I like it. I like it. All right, let's take a look and see our homophones over here. Germán is the first person to take a stab at it, intentarlo. And Germán says, and Well, first, Germán, those are the right words. So you're on the right track, buddy. And he says they are homophones. Okay, let's see what your classmates have to say. Kubla says it's and also the correct words, and they sound alike. Okay, that's 2 for 2. Chris Valrol also says that they are homophones here. So 3 amazing students, like the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop, are telling me that these words sound the same. Does anybody care to bet against them or to wager? Otra forma de decir, apostar. Would anybody care to wager against them? I wouldn't. So let's start at the beginning here. So that teacher is starting to bore me. Aburrirme. I know you know the word bored. I'm bored, estoy aburrido. I'm boring, soy la causa del aburrimiento, right? But also you can say it as a verb. So you could say, that teacher bored all the, well, en pasado. That teacher bores, tercera persona, all the students that come into his class. Bore. So it's bored, sin la D. Es el verbo, right? So I know you know the word bored. No lo pronunciamos bored, obviously. Bored. Also, they bore a big tunnel under the Alps. And that's why Elon Musk's company, the one that makes the Hyperloop or whatever it's called, and the X-Loop, ahora, is that what he calls it? It's called the Boring Company. No es porque son, bueno, puede que sean aburridos, pero es porque son los que taladran, los que perforan. The Boring Company. They bore tunnels, right? They have these big drill bits with diamonds on the end, and they bore tunnels through mountains, okay? Also, we said as a noun, oh, man, he's a bore. Él es una plasta, un pesado, un rollo. Oh, man. What did you think of the event? It was a bore. They gave a 20-minute speech and everybody was falling asleep. So again, you know it because you know the word boring and bored. Great. Now we've just discovered the word a little bit deeper. Now the other one is the past tense of the verb to bear. My mother bore 3 children. She bore 3 children. Borre se escribe, right? And it comes from the verb. I know you know the third column. To be born, ser parido. So it's bear, bore, born. So I was parido, right? Tener, criar. So bear, bore, born. Great word to know. Also, she bore the most difficult part of the situation. Soportó, aguantó. I can't bear it. Seguro que muchos conocéis ese. Pues es el pasado de eso. Bear, bore, born. Okay? That is the first word. Now, the second word is B-O-A-R, and that is a male pig. You can say a boar or a wild boar,
right? But usually if it's just a normal pig, then you would just say a pig. You wouldn't say a boar. So I think wild is not necessary. You can just say boar. So that boar bore 3 piglets, and now she's starting to bore them. Aburrirles. So there you go, folks. Playing with words whenever we can. Excellent job in the homophone section, guys. Also, Kubla, nice job on the Say What soundbite. Kubla, knocking it out of the park. All right, let's finish up our spelling bee, which is about a movie, and then we're going to go into today's Name That Movie. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a little summary of the movie. I'm literally going to read it off Wikipedia. Now, let me explain something. This is great because it's kind of like what we do in the Say What soundbite. You're giving a synopsis of something. So let's see. Let's see how much we can extract from here. The film depicts, to depict or to portray is pinta, right? It's not pintar. What is the word? To portray. Interpreta, depict. Piénsalo, viene de picture. Representar. See, I'm learning words in Spanish. I knew it, but I wanted to make sure I have the right word there. So the film depicts the fictional story of Jackie Rabinowitz, a young man, and it makes sense, rabbi. Rabbi is the priest in the Jewish religion. So Jackie Rabinowitz, a young man who defies, va en contra de, he defies the traditions of his devout Jewish family. And if you're devout, it means you are extremely religious. And then it goes on to say, after singing popular tunes in a beer garden, so popular tunes, rock and roll and things like that, in a beer garden, he is punished by his father, castigado por su padre, a hazan. And a hazan is a cantor. Cantor is somebody who sings, cantor, makes sense, in the synagogue, right? And this prompts Jackie to run away from home. O sea, va a la fuga de su casa. Some years later, algunos años después, now calling himself Jack Robin. So it's also about him rejecting his family and his heritage. I don't want to be Rabinowitz. I'm not Jewish. I'm a pop star. I'm international. And his father said, you're losing, you're becoming a degenerate. The typical, it's a very typical story if you think about it. Religious family saying, no matter what the religion is, saying, you've gone too far. And the kid, the kid pushes back, and before you know it, he packs his bags. So some years later, now he's calling himself Jack Robin. He has become a talented jazz singer performing in blackface. Now, the good news is, in the Neil Diamond version, there's no blackface. But in the original one, there is. But it was a popular form of entertainment. Okay? Yes, was it racist? Yeah, but it was also what everybody was doing. So, I'm not going to judge people. If you do it now, pintarte de negro, I don't know. I don't do stuff like that anyway, I prefer to dress up as Dracula. But who knows? Maybe somebody will be offended. You're dressing up as Dracula. Do you know he was Vlad the Impaler too? And he killed a lot of people. Okay, yeah, I know. If you want to, you can be offended about anything. You know that. So what else? He performed in blackface. He attempts to build a career as an entertainer, but his professional ambitions ultimately come into conflict with the demands of his home and his heritage. So that is he's Jewish, so that's his heritage. So classic story. If you want to check out the original one, it's the 1927 version. The one with Neil Diamond is really good too. I think that one came out in the 70s, maybe late 70s, early 80s. And I love Neil Diamond. What an amazing singer he is. All right, well, folks, time for a little more movie stuff in today's Name That Movie. Name that movie. That's right, amigos. It's Name That Movie only on the show with no name. All right. Let's see. Oh, German. I like it, German. He says, now old Elon de toda la vida. Nice. Me ha gustado, eh? Now old Elon wants to bore tunnels into people's heads to implant chips in them. Yeah, I heard that too. No thanks. No thanks. I want to become less of a machine, less digital and more analog every day. That's my goal. Meta what? Meta, take this, Meta. Meta mierda. Sorry. That's how I feel now. I think like, all right, guys, take the headsets off and your Google glasses and all that shit and just go for a walk in nature. Like, you know, with a tree next to you, hopefully. But yeah, Elon, interesting character there, but let's move on, guys. It's time for today's movie. I freaking love this movie. It's in my top 5. What? Top 5. Okay, maybe top 10. I'll give you that. Maybe it's in my top 10 if I had to make a list. But this movie, I don't know if it was a huge success over here. There it was a success in the United States, but it's even gotten more and more popular throughout the years. And when you look at the cast and all of that stuff, it's just insane. All right, so let's give it a listen. This is the synopsis. Let's see if you guys can figure out the movie. In Detroit, a pop culture nerd steals cocaine from his new wife's pimp and tries to sell it in Hollywood, prompting the mobsters who own the drugs to pursue the couple. Whoa. That sounds exciting, huh? So in Detroit, first and foremost, nobody goes to Detroit if they don't have to. Okay? Murder capital of the United States, at least it was for a long time. In Detroit, a pop culture nerd, un friki de la cultura popular, kung fu movies, you know, all that, kind of like us, un poco como nosotros, no? A pop culture nerd steals cocaine. You heard right. Cocaine. From his new wife's pimp. Ahora, también, si no lo has oído, lo voy a traducir. Del chulo de su nueva mujer. So she used to be a prostitute. And he tries to sell it in Hollywood, prompting the mobsters, and to prompt is provocar, prompting the mobsters, los mafiosos, who own the drugs, to pursue the couple. And to pursue is to chase, perseguir. Trivial pursuit en búsqueda de, no? La búsqueda. So to pursue. Again, I think it's one of the greatest movies ever. And I don't know how popular it was here, but in the States, it's just more and more popular as the years go on. And it came out in 1993. So, oh, I guess they caught them. All right, a nice round of applause for Chris Valrol and Kubla. The movie is True Romance. You call it Amor a Quemarropa, if I'm not mistaken. True Romance, starring Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, Dennis Hopper. Shall I continue? Okay, just listen to what I just said. Listen and listen carefully. Si no has visto la película. Okay, and I'm sure I'm going to leave some people out here. Que voy a omitir gente. Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, Dennis Hopper, Christopher Walken, Brad Pitt, James Gandolfini, that's from The Sopranos, Val Kilmer. Should I continue? Because there's more. All right, so when you put that all together, it's insane. Oh, and you know who wrote it? Now, he didn't direct it. It was directed by Tony Scott. Any Top Gun fans? Hey, Ridley Scott's brother, el hermano de Ridley Scott. Sadly, Tony Scott killed himself. He committed suicide. Tony Scott, the director of this and the original Top Gun and many other awesome movies. So Tony Scott directed it, but it was written by Quentin Tarantino. And maybe that's why, I mean, yeah, aside from an amazing cast, I mean, it's written by, it's Quentin Tarantino. Like, he's just got great dialogue. I mean, he's great. You might think he's violent. Yes. Yeah. But okay, take all that away. He's a weird guy. I don't even like listening to him talk, but his movies, good. I think the last good director we've had, like, you know, where you're like, man, and he's had a couple flops. Unas películas que, wah, 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 wah. So excellent movie if you haven't seen it. Let's take a look. Now, Brad Pitt plays Floyd. Floyd is a stoner, a pothead, un porras, porros, un porrero. And he improvised most of his lines. And he doesn't have many. He's not a huge character in the well, he is. That's the thing. He's huge, but he's only got a few lines. He's the roommate, el compañero de piso. But he's amazing in the role. He steals the show. And think about who he's competing with. Oh, and Gary fucking Oldman. Gary Oldman. He plays the pimp, El Chulo. You don't even know it's Gary Oldman if you didn't know. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen it, it's amazing. Also, when Gary Oldman, I mean, think about this. Gary Oldman is a classic Shakespearean actor. He's played Churchill. He's like un actorazo. This guy's trained, the highest training out there. And when he met with Tony Scott, the director, Ridley's brother, and he said, what did you think of the project? And he goes, I didn't have a chance to read it because I guess Gary Oldman is Gary Oldman. He's got a lot of scripts coming his way. And then Tony Scott said to him, well, listen, mate, you're playing a white guy, un tipo blanco, who thinks he's black, que se cree que es negro, and you're a killer pimp. Y eres un chulo asesino. And Gary Oldman laughed. He chuckled, and he gladly, on the spot, in ese mismo momento, accepted the role. And Gary Oldman, Dracula, I mean, come on, Gary Oldman. He's played Othello. He's played, some of the classic characters on stage, on screen. This is one of his greatest roles, and he's in the movie for 10 minutes, and he's unfreaking believable. James Gandolfini. Man, there's a scene with him and Patricia Arquette where he beats the living shit out of her. Oh, man. And in a motel, en uno de estos hoteles de carretera. It took 5 days to shoot the scene. And it's the kind of scene that when you watch it, it makes your stomach turn. Te da náuseas. But that's, you want, when you watch a movie, you're like, whoa, this is crazy, man. What's going on? So check it out if you haven't. Obviously, you got to see it in English. We're talking about some of the greatest performances ever by some of the greatest performers ever. Again, Christopher Walken is amazing in so many movies. And in this one, he is above amazing. So just crazy movie. Amor a quemarropa, as Chris pointed out. She says in Spain, it's not very popular, I'm afraid. Well, then you guys, you're lucky. You're a chosen few. All right. Well, in this scene, Cocotti says, that's his last name. He says, you know who I am, Mr. Worley. Tú sabes quién soy. And Clifford says, I give up. No sé, me doy por vencido. I give up. He says, who are you? ¿Quién eres? And he says, I'm the Antichrist. This is Christopher Walken's character. One of the gangsters, one of the mobsters. He goes, I'm the Antichrist, el Anticristo. And you got me in a vendetta kind of mood. Y me tienes en modo vendetta. Oh, shit. He goes, you tell the angels in heaven. Tú les dices a los ángeles en el cielo. Como diciendo, ahí vas. You tell the angels in heaven you've never seen evil. Okay, no, lo de malvado. So singularly personificado, as you did in the face of the man who killed you. My name is Vincent Cocotti. I work as a consigliere, for Mr. Blue Lou Boyle, the man your son stole from. And he says, I hear you were once a cop, so I can assume you've heard of us before. Am I correct? Tengo razón? So that's just the beginning of one of the greatest scenes ever. Folks, we'll be right back with the fourth and final part of the show. Stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to this, the fourth and final part of today's show with no name on Vaughn Radio. Don't forget, we've got amazing shows all afternoon, so stay tuned. Make sure you send some love over to our new presenters. They just started yesterday. They're just getting their feet wet, cogiendo experiencia aquí con nosotros. It's Ruby, and that's today from 3 to 4 p.m. every Monday through Friday. The show is called Speak Up. From 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. after work, you can work out, ir al gimnasio, with Chris in Frankly Speaking. And don't forget about all our other amazing shows here on Vaughn Radio. Also, if you're looking for materials, stop by our Vaughn Tienda in Bilbao, Valladolid, Zaragoza, Barcelona, Valencia, Santander, Vigo, and of course, Madrid. I'm just kidding. Madrid. All right, amigos. So much to do in this, the fourth and final part of today's show. So let's get cracking. What? I said, let's get cracking. Pongámonos en marcha with today's Double Trouble.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
Yeah.
Double trouble.
Sing it.
I said double trouble.
That's right, amigos. That's right. It is today's Double Trouble. And I got this one from a documentary I watched the other day with my wife. I think it was on HBO. Well, either way, I plucked it right out of pop culture. And hopefully you guys will be able to figure this out. Also, this is the thing. One of the sentences I got, well, I've known them my whole life, but one of the sentences I got, I said, esta no la van a saber, o quizás sí. Anytime I ask myself that question, then I'm sharing it with you, just to make sure you know it. And so the second part of this Double Trouble is something I saw in a documentary. The first part is my niece was telling me about a certain situation she's going through. And I said, oh, well, in English, you say that like this. So I said, well, wait, that's a double trouble. This is excellent. Awesome. All right. So here we go, my amigos. Te dije que están vigilando con fin de robar. vigilando tu casa o el sitio. Vamos a decir el sitio. So, te dije que están vigilando el sitio con fin de robar en un futuro, ¿no? Un poco viendo el perca. Estos se van a las 7, no ponen alarma, right? And then the second part is la fiscalía descansa, que viene siendo he dicho, ¿no? Like, ya no digo más sobre el tema. It's an expression we use in court, but we also use it if we're not in court, right? So, it's te dije que están vigilando el sitio con el fin de robar. La fiscalía descansa, or he dicho. Hey, that's the judge, right? The gavel. El martillo ese, we call it a gavel, the judge's gavel. All right. Also, I've got to give you today's Say What soundbite for the fourth and final time. Please write down what you hear.
I'm dead. Jesse's gonna rip my eyes out, punch my face in, then break up with me. It's her usual pattern. Look, Slater, the only way out of this is for you to tell Jesse that it's over between you and Jennifer.
All right. There you go, folks. There you go. That is your fourth and final listen. See if anybody else can figure it out. I don't think it's that difficult. We've had harder ones, let's put it that way. And double trouble, let's see. ¿Sabéis decir esa? La fiscalía descansa. Esa parte, esa no la sabía. Sabía el he dicho, pero no sabía el legal es la fiscalía descansa. O sea, no digo más acerca del tema, ¿no? No hay más que decir. He dicho. ¿Ok? Esto demuestra lo que yo he dicho. ¿Ok? A las pruebas me remito, it says here. ¿Ok? So you agree with me then? Pues a las pruebas me remito. He dicho. La fiscalía descansa. All right. Anybody? Ooh, I'm telling you, these double troubles have gotten pretty tough lately. I have upped the ante. He subido el listón un poco aquí, it seems, because I remember you guys having less difficulty with it. But, let's see. Anybody? If not, I'll give it to you. But I assume somebody's at least going to take a stab at it. If not, we got to move on. We got to keep going. So going once. Going twice. This court is adjourned. This is todos a casa. This court is adjourned. And then they bang the gavel. If you guys want to watch and learn some legal vocabulary, I highly, highly recommend Judge Judy. She is the funniest, she's the funniest, snappiest to snappish. Tú cállate, yo no te estoy hablando a ti. Like snappy, like. So, man, you want to, it's entertaining. It was on TV when I don't know if she's still on TV, but she's a short little Jewish woman who will put any thug or any mobster, a thug es como un gorila, esto es un matón, or any mobster, mafioso, que vimos la palabra antes de la película, she'll put them in their place in 1 second. You shut up, sir. I was not asking you. You will wait your turn. This is a courtroom. This is not your local bar. This is she's amazing. Judge Judy. Oh, what a character. It's a fun way to learn legal vocabulary. Also, there are many courtroom dramas, right? A Few Good Men. Está en un juicio toda la película. A Few Good Men. Tom Cruise, right? He plays a lawyer. A lot of good movies about law. So it's a good way to learn this kind of vocabulary that tends to be a little bit more specific, right? Okay, Chris Valrol taking a stab at it. And she says, I rest my case. I don't know the first part. Sorry. Well, you know what? We're on our way. Estamos de camino. We are on our way. And let's see if anybody else. Kubla, I told you they're watching to rest down the place. the public prosecutor's office rests its case. All right, great effort. But the first part is a little made up, un poco inventado. But hey, again, I'm asking you guys to try and figure something out that's got two really, really native expressions in there that you either know or you don't. And again, the first one, my niece is living in the United States right now. Just for the year, she went out there to the United States, to Colorado. And where she lives she's staying with a really nice family. In fact, they're in Disney, at Disney World this week. But they said that there were some cars driving by and they were taking a look at the house and seeing what, they were looking really close at what was going on at the house. And I said, oh, this reminds me of an idiomatic expression or really a collocation in English. And it's to case the joint. To case the joint. And I told her, I go, look, this in English, this actually exists. Desafortunadamente, hay una palabra que es ojear tu casa o restaurante, es vigilar aquí, antes de entrar a robar. So to case the joint. And the joint es una forma de decir el garito, el sitio, pues la casa, el lugar, right? El local. They're casing, man, these guys have been casing the joint. I don't know what's going on, but something smells fishy. So you've got it. The word we doubled up on there is the word case. So I told you they were trying to case the joint, que estaban intentando vigilar con fin de robar. All right, to case the joint. And the second part, as we said, is I rest my case. And this courtroom is adjourned. But that's only because it's time for another section, a section we call You're Joking.
Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar.
You're joking.
That's right, amigos. That's right. You're joking, only on the show with no name. Oh, and before we take a look at our jokes, I got to tell you, too, that word joint has a lot of meanings. A lot of meanings. It could be a quadruple trouble or more. So we've got joint, garito, lugar. Joint, the thing that connects two bones, articulación. Joint, porro, a joint. Also joint, conjunto. This is a joint production. So right there, there are like 4 or 5 different meanings. Oh, the joint, la cárcel. So, wow. Definitely a word that you can play with, maybe even come up with your own jokes. All right, let's see if you get the jokes that I've prepared for you today. Let me get you in the mood here. I like to get in the mood. All right. Which baseball player makes flapjacks? Which baseball player makes flapjacks? Do you know what flapjacks are? Pancakes? Tortitas? So, flapjacks or pancakes, las que haces en la sartén. Which baseball player makes flapjacks? The batter. The batter. No? The batter. El bateador, that part's obvious, right? El que batea is the batter. Okay. But then that batter must have a different or secondary meaning there. Well, yeah, if you're going to make pancakes or crepes, you need some batter. Necesitas el líquido, la masa líquida. Again, I always tell my students the best way to not mix up the word masa de esta espesa, thick that you use to make pizza or bread, that's called dough. But the one that's liquid, esa masa, that we call batter. And pancakes are made with batter, churros, because it's not really solid. You would call that batter as well. So, folks, you get it now? Which baseball player makes flapjacks? The batter? All right. I've got some more for you over here. The next one. Why did the sausage quit playing baseball? Why did the sausage quit playing baseball? ¿Por qué dejó de jugar al béisbol? Because he was the worst on the team. No, I didn't. No. Because he was the worst on the team. The worst, el peor, Wurst, curry wurst, the bratwurst, these German sausages. By the way, if you ever go to Frankfurt, you have to try a currywurst. It's the best wurst I've ever had in my life. Seriously, I'm not kidding. I dream about currywurst. So he was the worst on this team. All right. Which player holds water then? Come on. Which player holds water? All right. Easy one here. The pitcher. No. Well, first, did you know hold water has two different meanings? To hold water, sostener, aguantar agua. But also, if I tell you your argument doesn't hold water, it means there's no substance to it, right? So no tiene sentido. So, guy, come on. You didn't come because of that? That doesn't hold water. Eso no tiene sentido, ¿no? Tu argumento no tiene sentido. It doesn't hold water. So that I didn't know if you knew that double meaning of that there, but I mean it in the literal. Which baseball player holds water? And that's the pitcher. Why? Well, a pitcher is the person who pitches the ball, el que lanza la pelota. And also a pitcher, muy bueno saber si vas a Estados Unidos y quieres una jarra de agua grande, you would ask for a pitcher of water. It's very common too if you go to a place and you're all going to have the same soft drink, a pitcher of Sprite, and this way it's cheaper than getting a 2-liter or something because it's from the soda fountain, no se hace ahí en la fuente como en el cine. So a pitcher. Okay, one more here. How do baseball players keep in touch? How do baseball players keep in contact? They touch base. No? Touch base? Well, if you didn't listen to the baseball episode of FYI, then you're not going to know these idiomatic expressions because I explained them there. So to touch base, well, a player has to touch the base, right? It's something that they have to do before the ball gets there or before they get tagged, depending on the base. I'm not going to get into the specifics. But the expression is, to touch base is comunícate conmigo. Let's touch base next week. And it's yet another idiomatic expression that comes from the all-American game, baseball. All right, folks, time to move on, though. It's time for famous birthday trivia. That's right, amigos. It's famous birthdays only on the show with no name. And let's see if you guys can figure out who our famous birthday boys and girls are today. The first person was born in 1954. He's an American singer, songwriter, and producer. He was the lead vocalist of the hard rock band Van Halen for 3 stints. Tres tiempos, la palabra stint. From 1974 to 1985, the first stint. Then in 1996 for a reunion tour. And then from 2006 until they disbanded in 2020. He also had his a solo album, which I really like. I remember I had the cassette tape, and his solo album, at least the one I remember, maybe he has more, was pretty awesome. And he was the perfect guy for the MTV generation. You know, this kind of quirky, estrafalario, this crazy lead singer, very photogenic, California style, and party animal. So the original lead singer of Van Halen. Number 2, this guy was born in 1965, an American actor who died in 2006. He was the brother of actor Sean Penn, and he's been in so many movies such as The Wildlife, Reservoir Dogs, The Funeral. You know which one I'm going to say next? Which one? I'm going to say True Romance, Amor a Quemarropa, and so many other movies. He was found dead in his apartment at age 40. It was 2006. The cause of death was non-specific cardiomyopathy, heart disease. Vamos, lo que diría una persona normal, heart disease. So yeah, that's number 2. And number 3, Slater. I'm not going to say another word. Slater. It's all right, because I'm saved by the... It's all right. Saved by the Bell? Por favor. Slater, A.C. Slater, the wrestler. That's right. Well, he's done other things too, but he'll always be A.C. Slater. In the States, he's really popular on the Dancing with the Stars show. But again, in my mind, he'll be A.C. Slater forever. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for your classmate, Chris Valrol. Number 1, David Lee Roth. And number 3, Mario Lopez, who was A.C. Slater. And that'll bring us over to our Say What soundbite. This is from Saved by the Bell. And, well, Slater says, I'm dead. He got caught. Le han pillado haciendo cosillas. I'm dead. Jesse is going to rip my eyes out. Me va a arrancar los ojos and punch my face in. Y darme un puñetazo que se me va a ir la cara para adentro. And then break up with me. It's her usual pattern. Es su forma normal de hacer las cosas. Su patrón normal. And then Zach. You were either a Zach or a Slater. You were either Kelly or Jesse. You know, that's the way it worked. Well, he says, look, Slater, the only way out of this is to tell Jesse that it's over between you and Jennifer. And there's Zach always telling him to do the right thing. Let's hear it. This is from Saved by the Bell. It's all right.
I'm dead. Jesse's gonna rip my eyes out, punch my face in, then break up with me. It's her usual pattern. Look, Slater, the only way out of this is for you to tell Jesse that it's over between you and Jennifer.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is... No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name. The show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name. The show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. Thank you for all your effort, all your hard work, for having fun with us, por pasarlo bien con nosotros as we do every day. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. I hope you learned a lot with me as well. I hope you'll tune in tomorrow, and I hope you'll stay tuned for all the rest of our amazing programs. Today's song is a song that just gets me going. And how do I know it? Well, before I start the show, I listened to Name That Lyric. And I was air drumming, I was playing the air guitar, I was all over the place. So I hope this song pumps you guys up as much as it pumped me up at the beginning of the show. And I hope it pumps you up for the rest of your day. Que te motiva, que te dé energía. It's called Why Can't This Be Love? Mira, podemos practicar las preguntas negativas. Why Can't This Be Love by Van Halen? Now, this is not David Lee Roth. Nope. No, I chose a Sammy Hagar one. Not that I like Sammy Hagar better, but it's so hard to choose. Van Halen has so many great songs, period. Well, why? Who's wailing away on the axe? ¿Quién está tocando ahí el hacha? The guitar, we call it the axe. None other than the late, great Eddie Van Halen. So the song goes like this. Whoa, here it comes. Aquí viene. Here it comes. That funny feeling inside. Ese sensación rara que tengo dentro. It's winding me up. Me está, to wind up es haciendo reaccionar. I'm just winding you up. Te busco una reacción. It's winding me up inside. Every time we touch, cada vez que tocamos. I don't know. Tell me where to begin. Dime dónde debo empezar. Because I've never felt so much. And I can't recall, no me acuerdo, any love at all. Ningún amor en absoluto. Baby, this blows them all away. Buenísima expresión. Les da mil vueltas a todos. Wow. Van Halen, why can't this be love? Thank you, folks. See you tomorrow. Here he goes, Eddie. Wow.